Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho. A little impromptu pop-up stream. If you are in here like zero fucks, then you got the notifications on. That's kind of the only other way you would know. What's up, Nick? I thought maybe I could sneak one past you, but I guess not. We're gonna hop in. I think we're gonna max entry this puppy, the Frenchie, excuse me. Uh, let's do it. All right, so we're on Underdog. I'm entering the Frenchie 5. I'm not giving y'all a countdown. I wanted to maybe get some time, so I'm just hopping in. I'm just hopping in. 7 spots. We are ready. Come on down if you want it. But what's up, Jamie? Hope you're having a good weekend. I am, and I definitely wanted music for this one. So every time I see you, Jamie, I always like mentally question: do I have the music on? Did I want to have the music on? If I did, all set, and I did not. So let's get it going. We're in here. Legendary refresh. Ayo, what's up, Jiri? Yo, I get pick 3. It's about fucking time. But Jiri will be live later. I'm gonna try to figure out the redirect so that when I'm done, I can send people your way, Jiri. And if anyone doesn't know, Jiri has a 5-hour live stream tomorrow, 300 minutes on YouTube, and I will be joining him in the final hour, the 1 o'clock Pacific time. And for those East Coasters, we will hit 420 with Jerry tomorrow. So excited for that. Welcome in. And what's funny is you typed AO, and then the Google Translate turned it into come on, but that's not what you wrote. Same thing happened to Jamie. He wrote it in French, but at least with Jerry, I don't know why that happened. But don't have noties, just a refresh. Wow, that's quite a shocker. You were legitimately the first person in, like, instantly. Dev is in the notification game. He has pick 1. He's on the clock. He goes Jamar Chase. I thought I was getting Jamar. So pick 3, I'm either getting Gibbs or Bijan, and it looks like Gibbs has officially overtaken Bijan in this ADP. So wow, pick 3 with Bijan. Happy about it. Fuck yeah. We're in a good spot here. How we doing, Brett? How we doing, Scott? Welcome in. Are you in this lobby as well, or are you just in watching? Maybe if we get more site credit, maybe. But at the moment, no. What's up, Keith? How we doing? Happy Saturday. And then just chilling. Gonna watch a blunt stream. Welcome in, everyone. So far, that chase at pick 1, Dev getting different, makes my pick the only one that's unique so far. But it does seem like people are starting to adjust. Genty has been moving up the board a little consistently, but love that you'll be closing out the show with me. Tomorrow will be my best stream yet. Excited for it, man. You got a lot of guests, a lot of good times. I'm definitely gonna be checking it out even before I'm on there. Gonna be fun. Excited as well. Gonna be a sweet Sunday with Jiri football. No worries, Dev. I don't have a problem with it, but there is an argument that maybe Chase deserves the 101. Jamie just found out Jesus drove a Honda. Gotcha. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's blasphemy, Jamie, but I drive a Lexus. Already maxed it, says Best Ball Berserker. Tough break. That's why I wanted to save some. I knew that maybe if we waited a little bit, I could get in this one. And some of y'all might have maxed it. So avoid some of the tougher matchups, perhaps. But Dev, always Bijan 101. I guess not today. Jay rocked the party. $2 draft is a good time to get a little weird. Definitely. I think if you're going to start mixing in some names that you don't normally take, the $2 draft is definitely the spot. I would like to do that. There we go. I like when I can get as much of the board on the screen as possible. And on StreamYard, it doesn't let me zoom in like this how I would like. Here, damn, I almost got Kenneth Walker. Holy shit. That would have been sweet as fuck. But I did not. Are we just going to take Jeremiah? I don't think so. I'm going to go Nico Collins today. Nico can drop 160 and 2 touchdowns if he really takes over. There are times when you watch Nico Collins and he is just truly unguardable, and sometimes they make him such a focus he does get shut down. If you had Nico Collins like 2 years ago, like I did, at times he does disappear. Down the stretch after he got injured, he came back and he was just a little uninspiring. But there's also games where Nico Collins is just truly the best athlete on the field, and I don't want to be significantly underweight on Nico. So would have been sweet to get that Kenneth Walker price at 22, but whoever took him at 21, definitely the right decision. London got pulled up to 15. That was a big factor there. A.J. Brown over Ken Walker. I wouldn't do that. But Bowers over Ken Walker, also a little questionable. Coming back around, not the best situation, but I do trust Olave quite a bit. And we also get a little bring back for Week 17. We get the Falcons-Saints game. Dome matchup, 2 good offenses, and Bijan can definitely take over. But Bijan plays slightly better in primetime games. There is a correlation for Bijan in primetime matchups. He does not, unfortunately, he does not get a primetime matchup in the fantasy playoffs. But happy with that start. 2 high-end receivers, arguably both top 10. If they're not, they're very close to it. We'll see what happens here. But Trey McBride at pick 29. We took him at 32 the other day, or maybe it was 34. I think something along those lines. And it still felt wrong. It still kind of didn't feel very nice. Yeah, definitely you got to get a little weird in these $2 drafts. But in case you are new to the channel, in case you're not sure what's going on, we're drafting best ball teams right now. And if you're new to Underdog, I can get you $50 in bonus entries if you sign up using promo code BLUNT. Play your first 5, get 50 on me. That's either 10 puppies for free or 2 cracks at Best Ball Mania on me. That's a chance at $2 million with $50 in bonus funds. So promo code BLUNT, the link is in the description. And then we're also offering a 20% discount on the FanSpeak Best Ball Guide. The FanSpeak Network has a really dope player database, over 420 pages, 428 to be precise, and you can get 20% off a year-long subscription. Both of those links are down below. Check it out if you're interested. But foot up your ass 12. The team at 7, going with CMC, Derrick Henry, and Kyron Williams, the only triple investment at running back in this lobby. Otherwise, it's been mostly balanced. There's only one team, though, that doesn't have a running back. But in this lobby, I recognize, I think Luckbox, perhaps. I'm not totally sure. But J-Rock DeParty definitely in here. He's been in the chat. And then Super Beast, that's Keith right next to me. And then Dev's at the 101. Honestly, I'm not quite sure about anybody else. If you are interested in a team review, you can join the channel membership down below. Enter the Blunt rotation. I'm going to take Loveland. I buy into Loveland a little bit more day by day. I think the upside is really, really enticing. So let's mix it up. Colston Loveland on a Bijan team. I can afford to maybe fade running back a little bit. And I have 2 very good receivers. Let's get elite at the onesie. And Ladd McConkey went at 37 in this draft. What a selection. I think yesterday we saw Ladd go to 0 when he was next to me at the 102. He got Ladd at 47. So would be nice to get Ladd to fall to me, but not today. I can further commit to Chicago by taking Swift. I think one of the safest picks in this round. I can also take David Montgomery, but I'm not really dying to. Let's stay balanced. I went a little risky by taking the early tight end. I have 2 week 8 buys at receiver, but that's really the only dilemma so far. The Bears offense, definitely one to invest in. Who knows? I might get the Luther Burden drafter to pass on Caleb, which means I might get Caleb at pick 70. I don't think I can push Caleb to 75 because the team next to me has Roma Dunze, JMO, and Gibbs. He's definitely building out the Lions-Bears matchup, which means if he can, he's probably going to scoop up Caleb Williams at 74. So I just don't think Caleb will make it to 75 in this one. If I want him, he has to make it to 70, and I have to take him. So that's probably the selection I'll probably take. But Bears, 3 target as wide receiver 1. What could go wrong? It doesn't seem like a bad bet. I'm a... Maybe not absolutely, but definitely a little bit. Definitely a little bit. If people stop reaching on Lad, he'll fall. I'm above 8% Lad and never take him ahead of 43-ish. I am sitting at 12% Lad in these regular season contests. In the pre-draft, I think I was at about 14, maybe 15%. I am still well above market on Lad. And if I have Hampton, I'm happy to pair the two of them together. If he ever falls past pick 41, I scoop him up instantly, but at 42, that's kind of an auto click for me. But there is an argument. I was watching the Underdog YouTube channel earlier today. There's a case that Lad is going to be this year's JSN. Could be a massive breakout. At least investing into the Chargers offense is a very safe bet. So whether it's a little overpriced or not, there's no way he'll make it back to you in the 5th round. And to just lock up Chargers investments, give yourself an excuse to take Justin Herbert is a pretty solid plan. Also, it pairs up with the Chiefs, bring back an excuse to take Mahomes as well. Never the worst thing. But who's my highest owned player at this point? It is actually Dallas Goedert, narrowly above Justin Herbert. I have a little bit more money invested in Justin Herbert, but I actually have a shit ton of Dallas Goedert. And I think I'm going to stop. I think I'm going to start to cool it on Goddard for a minute. Unfortunately, I'm not getting a great pick here. So I'm going to let Keith and Dev decide my fate. I have Metcalf on the thumbnail. I don't take Metcalf a ton, so I'm going to take Metcalf today. I do not want Chuba. I do not want Mekhi Lemon, at least not right now. But I can tolerate one of the receivers in this range. Metcalf or Alec Pierce are kind of the only ones at ADP in this range I'm fine taking, but I kind of just prefer to wait a couple rounds and grab Michael Pittman. The gas is easy to acquire these days. It's tougher for your car. It's much more expensive these days, but the other version of it, it's everywhere. I got here late because I needed to go to the liquor store to purchase some fine adult beverages because I am dehydrated. Wink, wink. Sounds like you're making yourself dehydrated. I could go Jalen Hurts. Unstacked is fine. I have so much Justin Herbert. Here's the thing. I'm not in a lobby that's going to let me have Quentin Johnston. So I'm just going to take Jalen Hurts here. It is unstacked. Maybe I wind up stuck with Dallas Goedert, who I just said I'm going to stop taking. But who knows? This one will be a little bit different. I have so many Justin Herbert teams. I'll take the minor discount on Jalen Hurts today. So the team starts off with a 1-2-3-1 build. We got Bijan and DeAndre Swift. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, unstacked at the moment, but not the end of the world. Mekhi Lemon does go pick 79. And maybe I should have taken him over Metcalf just to pair him up with Hurts. But I'm not that upset about it. I think it's going to be all right. Hurts can go unstacked. When you really think about it, some of his best games are more likely going to be relying on like 3 rushing touchdowns theoretically, as opposed to 3 passing touchdowns. Having Hurts stacked is not bad, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal where you need to worry about not having Mekhi Lemon at the very least. So that's our quarterback. Our tight end is one of the best in Colston Loveland. We did not get the Caleb Williams combo. The Luther Burden drafter did take him at 66. But my RB2 is DeAndre Swift. I also have Nico Olave and DK Metcalf. But Herbert goes to the Hampton drafter, not the Lad McConkey drafter. And that guy gets bitter. The Lad drafter just takes QJ, says, fuck you. You're not getting the stack if I'm not getting the stack. And I respect it. Zero also around 14% Lad in the pre-draft. Reaching on Herbert, power move. I would agree. I definitely think he's one of, if not the best, round 7 picks you can make. The JSN comp for Lad feels pretty lazy. With Mike McDaniel, you can kind of believe anything, but I don't quite believe he'll be a top 5 player at the position. That I'm a little reluctant to buy into. Year 1, in his rookie breakout, once Herbert got healthy after the early bye that season, Lad was actually a top 20 receiver. He averaged like RB 17 in points per game, but to predict a top 10, top 5 season at a Lad is kind of reaching. I don't think it's impossible, but I wouldn't bet on it. Take DK and a rip. We're on the clock, so I'll take both of these picks, and then we'll take another rip for you. How about that, Anthony? Nah. I'm going to go Josh Downs. Kyle Monungai is sitting at the top ADP, but I already have DeAndre Swift. I don't really want to bet on both. I like both individually. However, the argument for Monungai, I think, is a little bit more reliant on Swift in order to really crush his ADP. Maybe he can pay off even if Swift stays healthy, but in that case, I think Swift might be not really worth it. So if I'm going to take Swift, I'm going to, in my mind, tell the story that on this team, Swift really crushes. Maybe Monungai gets hurt, and he just absolutely delivers in a way we're not expecting. And therefore, Monungai is just less valuable. So I don't want to pair expensive backfield partners like that. It's just not my preferred way to go. I did take Josh Downs just to lock up points. Maybe I should have taken Pearsall, and so that way I take Purdy. But let's go Jackson Dart. I'm going to push running back a little bit. Get 2 rushing quarterbacks who do not need to be stacked. They should be stacked, but they don't need to be ultimately. And I still have time to figure it out. I don't think people realize the difference in prospect profiles, especially with JSN being banged up. Yeah, JSN was the first receiver drafted. Somehow he failed to pick 20 that year. The Seahawks got a steal. However, Lad fell into the 2nd round. I thought he deserved a 2nd round pick. I thought that was appropriate, but he was like the 10th receiver in his class. There was like at least 7 above him. They even drafted Keon Coleman above him. The Patriots even traded away the pick to take Jalen Polk a few picks later. So obviously everyone was sleeping on him, but I don't view him on the same caliber as JSN. But his rookie season was much better than JSN's. I'll give him that. JSN had much more target competition, had DK Metcalf ahead of him, also had Tyler Lockett, and I think just the Seahawks organization wanted to slow play that. I don't think they wanted to just instantly upgrade him to the main guy. But I almost forgot. Jesus. I promised Anthony a rip, so my bad, bro. Let's do it. You should take a bull hit every time you draft Herbert. I mean, it is the dankest of herbs I used to have a couple teams in fantasy named the Dankest of Herbs, and you know who the quarterback was on both of those teams? Definitely Justin Herbert. Is there a player you're pretty light on that you're trying to get more of? Good question. I'm a little light on Rome Odunze and Brian Thomas Jr. I really like them. I'm trying to get a little bit more. The tough part is I think there's a really awesome pocket of receivers in the 5th round, so it's tough to fade too many of them. But I've been trying to get more Rome Odunze. I've been trying to get more Brian Thomas. I've also been trying to get a little bit more of Jalen Waddle, just a little bit, just because I'm very low. I want to be closer to 8% on Waddle. Dobbs falls this far, so I might be gifting the Drake May drafter something nice, but I also need running back. I'm going to go Rachaad White here. Very consistent role, a bit of a backstop floor play at the position, because I think I should probably draft another one soon. The running back position really dries up after this round, so gonna pass on Romeo Dobbs. He does go to Super Beast, who did have Drake May. Sure, he was happy about that. It's fine, though. I think unstacked Romeo Dobbs isn't, like, the most exciting pick. He's fine, but we'll see. Coming back around, I think I'm going to grab Jordan Mason if Super Beast does not. Damn it! I thought the delay would be fine. I'm sure he didn't hear that. I'm sure he picked it on his own, but I did want Jordan Mason. Shit. All right, in that case, I'm going to try to push Goddard. I'm going to go Isaiah Likely. I will get a stacked up Jackson Dart and Isaiah Likely. I've been trying to get less of Dallas Goedert. Just, I'm a little too overboard on Goddard. I was convinced his price would move up the board after A.J. Brown finally got traded. It seems not the case. People just believe in Eli Stowers, I suppose. I don't really understand it. I know he has a little injury risk, but when healthy, when he scores a touchdown, especially when A.J. Brown's not been on the field, he has dominated. He's played very, very well. So if the market is going to decide that my 11th round price tag on Goddard is still too expensive, then I maybe should cool it and just try to take him a little more often in the 12th. He's consistently a 12th round pick. So I've decided I won't take Goddard in the 11th as often. But it was tempting. On a team with Jalen Hurts, it definitely crosses your mind, for sure. Sladen says, Indy terrifies me. I know someone has to win, but man, it's just too easy to look elsewhere for functional passing game points. As long as Daniel Jones plays most of the games, if he can stay healthy, I'm not afraid of the Colts passing game, just because it's very consolidated. They do not have a third pass catcher, at least receiver. They have 3 pass catchers. They don't have a 4th weapon that catches the ball. Jonathan Taylor doesn't really get many targets. He doesn't factor into the passing game enough to really worry about too much. Like, max for Jonathan Taylor is like 50 targets typically. And that's a really good season. There's been seasons where Taylor has like barely 20 catches. So it's Tyler Warren, it's Alec Pierce, and it's Josh Downs. Nobody else is really a problem. So they have to throw the ball. It's going to go to those options. Zero loves the Colts. They're an offense I trust as long as the quarterback is healthy. I trust Shane Steichen, ultimately, but do not get Goddard to circle back. Instead, I got Stephon Diggs to make it back, and that's definitely a value I will scoop up. Pick 142 on Stephon Diggs. I'll take that all day, especially when I need a wide receiver. Quincy, hopping into the next draft. We will only do one more, so I might start it early, to be honest with you. I might not do any team reviews if you're not a member, especially on the second one. Not going to be the case, but definitely going to do one more. Rookie year lad was just him and ascending QJ. This year, way more competition. A bit more competition. Gerald Everett was a big part of the offense back then, though. Replaced with Gadsden and Njoku. Trey Harris also a factor. There is more competition, but he's still the number one, ultimately. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to bet that Daniel Jones stays healthy. Give me Daniel Jones on this team. We already have Jalen Hurts and Jackson Dart, but Dart has some injury risk. They all run the ball. Jones might be more of a pocket passer this season, but I'll take the third quarterback. I'm willing to get a little expensive at that position on this one. And I'm done at tight end with Isaiah Likely and Colston Loveland. So 5 picks combined on the onesies, quarterback and tight end, I think is a good way to go. If I'm only going 2 quarterbacks, I like to go 3 tight ends. And on this team, I'm definitely only doing 2 tight ends. So I could stop with 2 at both positions, but I'm fine with the third. I think typically you can afford 1 luxury pick. So today it's going to be Daniel Jones. That third quarterback does stack up with Josh Downs as well. His matchup in the final week is against Cleveland, so did get a little easier. I respect Jared Verse, but he's not Myles Garrett. The weather could be a problem, but the Browns matchup looks a little more enticing. So the Colts get a minor upgrade in the ranks after the Garrett trade. If Keenan Allen rising from the grave drops your ADP 20 points, maybe you're mispriced. I don't think Keenan is coming back. I really don't believe it. Wouldn't expect it from the Mike McDaniel system. I don't think he fits properly. He's not fast enough. The Mike McDaniel system needs speed, and I don't think Keenan provides the proper skill set. I also think the weight he has in the locker room, just because what he means to the franchise, is something that served them well to move off of 2 years ago when they traded him to the Bears, and I'm not totally convinced it is the best course of action this year. It's fair to say that Keenan doesn't really fit McDaniel offense, exactly as Zero says. Pearsall is so hurt he prays for Dobbins' body. I don't know about that. Pearsall is still younger. The gunshot wound is not really a repeatable injury, so I'm not sure about that, Best Ball. I'm not sure. What's up, Bukowski? How you doing? Good to see you. Keon over Ladd was wild as fuck. I know, and they also... The Bills traded back. They gave up Xavier Worthy. They also took Keon Coleman. Or wait a minute. Was Keon a different... No, it was Xavier Legette, wasn't it? Wasn't it Xavier Legette? I guess both of them were taken above Ladd. I am on the clock. Don't really love too many picks in this range, but I do have Bijan on this team. So I'm going to go Tank Bigsby first. We're going to get another Eagle, and maybe Jalen Hurts hands the ball off to Tank Bigsby for 3 touchdowns one week instead, and maybe not having him in the starting lineup is key in the right moment. So running back room with Bijan anchoring it. DeAndre Swift is one of the best value RB2s. And then Rachaad White, a really good floor play, giving me points when I need it. But I'm leaning on receiver a little bit more, perhaps, at the flex spot. Maybe even tight end contributing every now and then, too. We got Loveland and Likely, very strong tight end room. Receiver, a lot of volume so far. So although I haven't drafted one in a minute, I think I'm still in pretty good shape. The Diggs fall really saved me. A 10-pick slide on Diggs, a player that most people kind of believe is going to be rising in the ranks once he signs somewhere. Like, I'll take the discount for sure. Diggs used to go in like the 170s, and then he rose to the 130s, and then there just hasn't been news. But watch him go like pick 95 a week after he signed somewhere. Diggs is still one of those good assets, and maybe he goes somewhere he's just not worth it, but definitely a lot of good landing spots still on the table for Stephon Diggs. Almost my pick right here. I will just take Trey Harris. I've ignored receiver for a minute. I could go Stribling, in San Francisco for the bring back, but I'm not someone that ranks Stribling above Trey Harris. So let's bet on the breakout. The Justin Herbert drafter on the opposite side of the board did not take him. He went with the other Trey Tucker, and I think Trey Harris can outscore Trey Tucker significantly. What's up, Drew? Best ballers are obsessed with rookie years and with peak seasons. Way underrate later breakouts and consistent play. That's where someone like Jacoby Myers is like kind of underrated, you know, like just consistency over everything else. I know that Jacoby Myers is a very crowded offense. Hard to fully believe in him when there's some more upside, but I'm starting to think that some of those consistent players, especially in redraft, are much more valuable than the ADP would suggest. I think someone like Jacoby Myers, who's just very consistent, probably a really good asset in redraft. That's just an example, though, of one of those consistent players. What's up, Brett? Later breakouts are harder to find for spreadsheet bros. Analytics can't see nuance. That's the thing where stats always just look to the past, and sometimes they can be predictive, but you also don't want to be completely bogged down and strictly have blinders on in that department. I think it's good to have an expertise in that lane, have something to check that kind of confirms some of your bias, but there's also things where you also have to kind of have a scanner on certain stats and say, just because this happened doesn't mean I believe it'll happen again. I'm fine with 0% Odunze and Thomas Jr. so far. That's fine. I've been underweight on them, and I do believe in those players, so I've been trying to get a little bit more. But that range has a lot of good options. I understand going elsewhere. There's so many safe picks, I think, but they are before the tier break. Let's be honest, stacked up Dobbs isn't the most exciting pick. Even when it's stacked up, yeah, it's not the most exciting, but unstacked, yikes. Quincy, I feel like Waddle's going to be a hit, just kind of boring pick. Yeah, the Broncos are a little uninspiring. But given what they spent to acquire him, I definitely see him being part of their game plan. Absolutely someone they probably want. But Brett, I trust Tyler Warren. He's a good pick for sure. Quincy, got any plans tonight? Yeah, the girlfriend and I going out for dinner. A little night on the town. I trust Hall of Famer Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren the most. I do think Downs, though, is a very good price. He's probably worth where he's going in round 9. Coming back around on the clock, I have a 3-4-6-2, so still need some running backs. And then maybe one more receiver. Could go Stowers. But I think first I'm going to go Mike Washington. I think I need that a little bit more. But receiver might be good enough where I can tolerate a third tight end. I think it's a little unnecessary. But it would be one of the few stacks I can put on this team that makes some sense. It's between Stowers and Dontavian Wicks in this spot. I can probably get away with my 5 running back build, especially if Rashad really works out. But Swift, I trust enough. And then some elite upside with the handcuffs, but very contingent upside. Not the safest bet. I think structurally, though, I think I should probably go with receiver. So I think I'm probably going to go with either Dontavian Wicks or Darnell Mooney. I do also have Jackson Dart, but if one of them can make it back, it's probably one of the Eagles. I'll go Darnell Mooney. He's a player I've been trying to take a little bit more after hearing Huhames sell him a little bit, especially with the neighbor situation. One of these really late round giants is probably worth a better pick than this. Last year, Darnell Mooney was like a pick 100, fell to like pick 110 sometimes, but definitely not this cheap. And if he can stay healthy, maybe he will outpay. I outplay this ADP. If Diggs go to Vegas, do you think he's wide receiver 1? In Vegas, yes. In terms of like the rankings, he's not going to qualify as that. He would be like wide receiver 40 to 50, I think, in the ADP if he went to Vegas. I think he would move up drastically, because that, I think, is really the best spot. I think that's the best landing spot. And Kirk Cousins is there. There's a familiarity, a little connection between the two. We'll see. But Zero doesn't think he's going to Vegas. Where do you think he's going, Zero? I mean, yeah, he's behind Bowers, but he's definitely above Trey Tucker. He's above Jalen Naylor. He's the number 2 target for sure. I think that's the best spot, personally. Bills traded back with Chiefs. Chiefs got Worthy. Sometimes the year of those rookie prospects I do mix up sometimes, but Bills need to trade up for BTJ. As a Bills fan, we were all begging for it. I was shocked that he fell to where he did. Even the Jags were able to trade back and still get Brian Thomas Jr. It was kind of a weird way for it to fall. But imagine Ladd with Mahomes. I don't have to. He has Justin Herbert. Trey Harris and Trey Tucker, both great bets, but Tucker will destroy Harris this year. I disagree. I mean, really, Trey Harris was overshadowed by Keenan last season. But just got done making dinner for the family, so I'll be back in a little bit. Enjoy your evening, Jamie. Enjoy the weekend. Stowers way too cheap. Add Kamara if you can get him, my guy. I'm not the most convinced that he's worth it. Dontavian Wicks almost made it back. I could go Malachi Fields, just get both of them, but let's bet against that today. I have a lot of Jordan James. I almost took Kalen Black, but James is still on the board. I will stick with my ranks. I'll go Jordan James over Kalen Black. I think at the moment you should be drafting more James than Kalen. But I don't have a ton of time. I can do one more. Let's take a look at Super Beast team real quick, because he is a member. So is Dev. And we'll do a little team review real quick. We got Drake May, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jeremiah Love, Jordan Mason, Brian Robinson, Kamara, and Malik Davis. So also 6 RBs. Kind of a similar approach to me, but maybe a higher investment at RB2 with Jeremiah. But we kind of have similar approaches on picks. George Pickens, JMO, Rome, Pierce, Dobbs, Hunter, Tesla, and Hurst. And then Laporta, Hunter Henry. Yeah, very similar draft style. I got that extra quarterback. He got the extra wide receiver, but I think we're both in good shape. I think we both have valuable builds. He got the Travis Hunter, so yeah, I think that extra receiver does make some sense. But no complaints. Got some good stacks on this one. The Romeo Dobbs stack instead of AJ Brown, but still pretty solid team. I like it, Super Beast. Good luck. And then Dev at the 101 went Dak, Bo Nix, Geno Smith. He did not pair up Jamar with Joe Burrow. He also has Breece Hall, Travis on this team, Travion Henderson, Kyle Monangai, and Jonah Coleman. So a little bit more invested in running back. A pretty consistent build. Good luck with Breece. I don't think Breece will pay off. Pick 24. That's my honest take. But Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Sutton, both of them with Bo Nix, Jaden Higgins, Debo Samuel, Ayuk, and A.D. Mitchell. Higgins, I think, a little overpriced. Same with Ayuk. Did fall, but still very risky pick. And then A.D. Mitchell could be just truly worthless. So I'm not in love with the receiver room. Tight end has Kelsey, Sadiq, and Taylor. Taylor? Really? I guess, but I'm never taking him. I've never clicked it this year. I disagree with that. Both Jets tight ends. Gross. I don't like that at all. Even with Geno, I don't like that at all. Pick one. I don't see the point in taking Mason Taylor, to be completely honest. I would have grabbed another receiver or just any other tight end than Mason Taylor on any other team. Legitimately, I don't like the Taylor click at all. So it's not a terrible team. There's just a couple things I disagree with. And then you did go Jamar at 101. That was a shocker. I think that for everyone, that was a shocker, Dev. Anybody else in here? We haven't drafted with J-Rock possibly ever before. So I will review J-Rock just because I think it's the first time he's been around. But we got Jaden Daniels, Mendoza, Shador, Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson. Not a bad running back room. Feels pretty consistent, but these bets have to work out. I think Pollard needs some help from these two, who I do believe can deliver, especially Brooks. That's for sure. But Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, Jacoby Myers, Casey Concepcion, Shaheed, Antonio Williams, Malik Washington. So a pretty solid Commanders build, also with Bowers and Chig. Very, very nice. Love the Mendoza bet. And then even the value pick on Shador, I do think Shador will have more starts than Deshaun this year. I think Watson is completely washed. So I will do a second draft. I'll just remind you one last time on my team, we had Hurts, Dart, and Daniel Jones. Bijan, Swift, Rashad, Bigsby, Mike Washington, and Jordan James. Solid running back room. Bijan makes it good. Nico, Olave, Metcalf, Downs, Diggs, Trey Harris, and Darnell Mooney. And then Loveland and Isaiah Likely at tight end. Pretty solid. The Loveland pick makes this team really interesting. The starting lineup is pretty fire, but some of the depth a little difficult. Like running back, if I need these guys to hit, could be in trouble. And then if I'm wrong on Diggs, Downs, and Metcalf, then perhaps it's tough. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the bet. These two up top should really carry me. All right, I will do one more Frenchie. And we got 56 people watching, only 24 likes. Appreciate any likes y'all can give me. I'm not going to set a goal for it. We're just hopping in right now. No countdown, though. Come in if you want. The $2 Frenchie. This is my last one. We're in here with a purple badge. I kind of forget what that signifies, but I don't recognize many of y'all, but I am right next to Young Phil at the 108. And then ladies first, also, I know you're watching at the 1010. Welcome in. Otherwise, though, we may have dodged y'all. I may have gotten by and dodged some of y'all. I'm going to speed through some of the chat, in all honesty, because I did really fall behind. We got John Tara, though, hopping in for the first time today. What's up? Says Kalen Black is getting some rave reviews from camp. I'm drafting Black for the upside. I think it's worth mixing in, and I can definitely pivot, start taking him later in the summer, but at the moment, I'm still going with Jordan James above him. Roni says Diggs just wants the bag, or else he would have already signed with the contender. If I'm not mistaken, the Raiders have some of the most cap space still remaining. The Commanders, I think, also qualify. Way easier to see Kamara destroying a fantasy backfield than having his own standalone value. Yeah, I could agree with that. I don't think he'll really be that good. Most of the time, he's not going to crack 10 points. Last year, he really struggled on the goal line. He had very few touchdowns last year. As someone who traded him away after week 1, I did not regret it at all. I kind of regret who I traded him for, but moving off of Kamara, I think was the right choice. He scored a touchdown week 1, had like 16 points, and he never came close to that. Maybe only one other time did he crack like 13 points the rest of the season. I am on the clock, though, and I will just take my boy Amon-Ra here at the 107. Not going to take CMC again. I already have him in this contest, so I'll move on with that. But last year he had leg trouble. This year he had legal trouble, but he was pretty healthy last year. It is possible they would have held on to him. It is, instead of trading for Romeo Dobbs. Was Dobbs a trade asset, or did they just sign him? I think they just signed him, now that I think about it. J Rock the Party, that's what I call getting weird. Your team was not bad. Mason Taylor very slept on. I'm gonna keep him undrafted. He is not on my Rolodex. I'll tell you that. Even when he was on the field last year, he was pretty worthless, and I took a decent amount of him. I believed in him last year. Maybe the year 2 breakout will happen, but they invested a lot in Sadiq, who isn't fully healthy, but yikes. Especially if you take both on the same team, I think that's kind of wild. But Penn State don't export trash at tight end. Definitely valid. Well, part of that PR team was also Diana Rossini. Part of the PR team was part of the problem. How are the drafts going today? We're a little stoned. I think that's part of the deal. But we're getting money, Kelly. Don't worry, we're getting money for sure. A Mark is in at the 102. Thank you for letting me know. I'll take a look at your team later on. We got Derrick Henry making it back, one of my favorite starts. I think Drake London is probably the best receiver in round 2, but I don't think he's better than Derrick Henry. I am happy to get him at pick 18. Pick 18 is usually where the run on running back ends, and so that's where I am comfortable grabbing a wide receiver. At picks 5 and 6, though, I'm a little bit more inclined to just take my running back early, and that way when I don't draft a running back round 2, I don't feel behind at that position. Large Sneak says, hope all is well, man. Love the content. Spot 8. Appreciate you for letting me know, young Phil. I did recognize you. You do have a different username, though. Large Sneaks. We'll take a look. He's got CMC and Chase Brown so far. Young Phil in the house. Right? No countdown today. Was able to get slightly better EV. It gets tough with all of you. You know, there's some sharp drafters when all of you get in the lobby. Jamar 101, 2 straight drafts. I know, a little wild, back-to-back times. So Bijan at the 103 in both instances. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it. Black is 24 years old, 3rd round pick. If they don't use him now, then when? The Niners have a weird approach with running back. Sometimes they just let you sit on the bench for a year. That's what happened to Jordan James last season. They were gonna do that with Isaac Guerrero, but then he got on the field and they realized, no, he's just not really good enough. They did do it with Jordan James, however, and they always draft a running back every year in the 3rd round that is just not worth the hype. So I'm gonna believe in someone that developed in the system. Kind of tempted to pull up somebody else there, but I'm gonna make the bet he circles back. Maybe he makes it back at pick 42. Dobbs was a signing, right? Not a trade. Sadiq plays more similar to Cooper than to Taylor, though. I just don't see the point in investing in a backup on the Jets. Like, the Jets got significantly more crowded this year, and yes, Sadiq is kind of banged up, but I think, especially when this contest pays out, when you want to have high spike weeks, Sadiq will be on the field in the fantasy playoffs. I just don't get the point in taking Taylor. Like, even if Sadiq suffers an ACL and misses, like, you know, let's say it happens week 7, he misses 10 weeks. I still don't think Mason Taylor's that good of a pick. I still probably wouldn't draft him. We don't draft the Panthers tight end room. You know, we barely draft the Broncos tight end room. It's just not a bet I want to make. Yeah. Not taking Mason Taylor myself. I was last year, though, and I got burned. There was like one game, I think it was against the Bengals. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Bengals game when Mason Taylor played well. And you know what is the common factor about that specific matchup? Every tight end last year except Isaiah Likely played elite against the Cincinnati Bengals. They gave up by far more points to any other tight end. No other tight end matchup, forgive me, was better than the Bengals last year. Gave up way more points to the tight end position. Hoped for Ladd McConkey, honestly. But today I'm going to go Terry McLaurin. Load up on receivers early. Let's make the bet that Derrick Henry just delivers. And we can kind of push running back around just a little bit. 3 receivers through the first 4 rounds. We're getting our points today at the position. Yep, that he did, but the Chargers didn't draft a receiver higher in the draft than him this year. The Chargers waited for Brennan Thompson to invest further at that position. The Jets drafted a first-round pick at tight end. Garrett Wilson was healthy for like a month and led the team in receiving. Truly a meme season. Did you, does anybody watching follow Dr. Locks on like TikTok? I don't think I follow him, but I think he's just like shows up in my feed every now and then during the season. And the over-under on Garrett Wilson touchdowns was hilarious on that channel. They bet the over on 5 touchdowns on Garrett Wilson. I think it was a 4.5 touchdown line on Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson scored 4 touchdowns in the first 5 weeks and then gets hurt and never scores a touchdown again. It was fucking hilarious. And they had a big bet on it too. They were going to win like $5,000 off of like $1,000 down. It was pretty sad. Running back kind of went off. I thought maybe I would get one, so I'm going to grab one before it completely dries up. I'm actually going to take Byshel Tutin here so that I can move off the position for a bit. I have a plan. There is someone I want on this team, and I don't want to pass on running back in the next round just because Byshel Tutin made it back. So I'll just take him here. I want a running back, but thought I could maybe get a better one. Thought I was at least getting Quinshon Judkins, who I think is more talented than Byshel Tutin, but the offense in Jacksonville worth betting on. I think Byshel Tutin's a fine round 5 selection if you need running back. I draft Michael Mayer, so I won't scoff at Mason Taylor click. I don't draft either of them. I've been an Isaiah Likely truther for going on 4 years now. I want to know, is this the year he reaches his potential? Last year, I was a truther on Likely, and I kind of even doubled down after the injury. So for a few weeks, a little over a month when I started the contest, I was never really drafting Isaiah Likely. I was kind of bitter about it. And then once he signed in New York, I started clicking him a little bit. Then we talked to GAB for Life, GAB Sports, aka Young Moolah, who is in the chat sometimes. We did some collabs together. Check out that stream if you're interested. I think that was the day that Jalen Waddle got traded. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jalen Waddle is on the thumbnail on that video. But Young Moolah loves Isaiah Likely, and for best ball, I think he's a great click. A little less excited in redraft to take Likely, but now that Neighbors is a question mark, I think Isaiah Likely is a phenomenal click. I think Young Phil might be taking Caleb Williams. He has Loveland and Rome, so I think Caleb is coming off. He goes Parker Washington instead. As long as it wasn't my guy Jaden Daniels here, I'm fine with that. I did mention I want to take Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit more often, but the whole reason I took Terry in the 4th was to set up the Jaden Daniels selection. And I could have gotten the bring back with Byshel, with BTJ, but I already got the Jags bring back with Byshel Tutin. That also pairs nicely. Week 17, the Commanders are at the Jags. But Jets having a bad NFL draft doesn't really surprise me. I mean, they did get talent. They got some talented players, especially in the first round, Omar Cooper and Kenyon Sadiq. But for fantasy, that was really annoying. One of the worst landing spots is always the Jets. The one positive of the Jets 2025 was We got a final ruling on the eternal is Justin Fields an actual NFL quarterback debate. Yeah, I think it's definitely settled. Maybe some of the truthers will still just blame the New York Jets, but I think it's settled for sure. I think Tucker Kraft is going to be a ton of touchdowns this season. Think Romeo Doubs and Wicks gone from the Packers. I do trust Tucker Kraft quite a bit. He's one of the tight ends I do like to take at ADP. I'll mix in Bowers occasionally. I don't take Trey McBride. We took him yesterday, and I think that's like the last time for a while. I will take Colston Loveland, especially if he falls. I will take Tyler Warren, and I will also take Tucker Kraft. But a lot of tight ends are well priced this year. There's not that many that you can complain about. Wow, Caleb made it back. Do I gift young Phil, who's watching the channel right now? There's not many good clicks, honestly. There's really nothing that excites me other than the quarterbacks here. So, shit. I'm sorry, man. I'm just going to take the value. Sorry. Bummer. Hate to break it to you, but Tucker Kraft was going to score 10 plus touchdowns with or without Dobbs and Wicks there. If he didn't get hurt, he was going to crush. The situation for Likely does feel pretty solid. Slayton says, I just want 2 or 3 games of Likely with Jameis, but just for the sheer spectacle of what could it be. I take Jameis a lot in Superflex. Jameis is one of my favorite clicks in the last 2 rounds. Considering what the Jets traded away to get those draft picks, they definitely lost talent overall. Right? Yeah, that's a very fair point. Losing Sauce Gardner to get Omar Cooper Jr. Maybe not the best. They just doubled down on offense, but the team got worse. At least it's a position of need. Their offense is ass, but their defense is atrocious. Even with Sauce Gardner, they weren't getting any interceptions last year. And 1 corner does not make the team. You can take a corner out of the equation, if anything. You can just not throw in their direction if you want. But I guess in that sense, that corner is winning. But it's all right. I'll be honest with you, John Tara. I considered pulling up Rico. I did consider it. And I didn't have to. He's still here. I will definitely take him. Rico Dowdle, come on down. Originally, I kind of planned to set up a Mahomes selection, but we already have a stack, and then we got the really nice price on Caleb. Even unstacked, Caleb can also run the ball. If that wasn't part of his game, if he was Dak Prescott, I would not have taken him there. But it is what it is. Maybe young Phil got a little bitter, didn't even let me have Kyle Monangai. Might have pissed off young Phil. Half of my Mooney and Superflex was just an excuse to grab Jameis, so I feel you. I think you can take Jameis without Mooney. I think the Jameis Neighbors combo is going to be really, really nice, but especially Likely as well. I would definitely prefer Isaiah Likely or Neighbors over Mooney. Quinnen Williams was a bigger loss than Sauce. He's underrated. Mooney could drop 1,500 yards if he had 17 games with Jameis and no Neighbors. This I disagree with. I don't think Mooney is healthy enough to play a full 17 games. So that would never happen. Large Sneaks is young Phil, so sorry, man. I almost pulled up Herbert just because that's typically what I do, but an excuse to go in a different direction, I took it. But the quarterbacks there are much better clicks than Ramondre or Jalen Warren, in my opinion. So, even unstacked, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I used to believe in Mooney, used to have a lot of confidence, but after watching him closely the last 2 seasons, like waiting for him to really deliver, it's pretty evident to me he is just too brittle at this point. He gets injured kind of quickly. It happens very often. Michael Wilson falling to 103. I still don't want him. I still don't want Michael Wilson, but I think I will tolerate it. I never take him. Let's make Candyman happy. We're going to have Chris the Candyman, aka Fantasy Football Garage. Check out his YouTube channel. He will be joining us on Monday night. So at least I can say I recently took Michael Wilson when I have him on. I won't be at 0% exposure if he asks me and I have to show the receipts. Because if he can play like last year, he will crush at 103. But I'm not that convinced it'll happen. Judy, no. Judy ain't doing shit. Darnell Mooney is the healthiest man alive, or I'm high. I think you're high, Best Ball Cabal. And if anything, I will clear the pipe with you. This might be the last rip from the pipe we'll have today. Because I don't think I can stay past 420. I think at 420, gotta do some other things. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, maybe I can figure out how to do it. I don't know how to set up the redirect so that when this is over, I can send y'all to Jiri Football if he's still live. Yo, speak his name into existence. He appears in the chat. I took your boy, Fantasy Football Garage. I hope I made you proud. I did not pass on the Michael Wilson at 103 today. I was tempted to do it, but for you, I will take him. I think for his size, actually not that brittle. It's just hard being 170, 180 and play outside receiver. I think once injuries start to pile on, the body takes a lot more time to recover. And I think the requirements of the NFL season are just a bit too demanding for Darnell Mooney at this stage. But I will scoop up Jonathan Brooks for sure. Love Brooks and slightly past ADP. Have been seeing him rise consistently as of late, so definitely give me Jonathan Brooks. Yo, 103 on Michael Wilson. Do you remember where we were taking Jonathan Brooks when I was on your channel, Chris? I think we took Brooks at like 150, maybe 148, 146. I think it was 13th round, Jonathan Brooks. And we were like reaching on him back in the day. So Jonathan Brooks, I think also a very easy click at 114. The Big Sweat asking, would you take Jones and Mason just to have both running backs? I'd prefer not to. I think the reason the Vikings running backs, same with the Commanders running backs, the reason why they go in this range, in my opinion, is because they're very mid. And like, even if the other one goes down, I don't think they're going to like be so elite that they really crush. So that's where I don't see like massive upside for either pick. So if you just want to like shore up your bets and just have an insurance policy, I don't think it's worth it. I think having the backup is much more enticing, especially the handcuff backup at a much cheaper discount. I'd much rather have like a Saquon and Tank Bigsby than an Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. So for that reason, I don't think it's worth it. They're priced too close together where I think having them both in the same team is just a true floor play. And like maybe they flip-flop weeks, but that means one of them is like clearly a zero every single time. And I also think they're just going to coexist too much to really be worth it. So the way I'm playing it, I'm fine with taking both. I'm a little less excited about, hold on, I'm on the clock. Concepcion fell, but I'm kind of fine passing on him again. I will go Mark Andrews on this one. I think Andrews is a good click. Good, solid selection. I'll go with Mark Andrews. The way I like to play both Washington and Minnesota is in the drafts I take one, I only take one. And then in another draft, I'm willing to take the other one as like a hedge on the other bet. But definitely want to play it like one of them is going to crush, the other one is not. And for that reason, I don't like to take two backs in the same team that are going in the same round. If they're going within 10 picks of each other, I don't think it's worth it to have both. So similar to how I didn't want to take Swift with Kyle Monungai, I think the price on the backup is a little too expensive. I'm not taking Travion with Ramondre. I'm not taking Kyron with Blake Corum. I'm not taking Rico with Jalen Warren. I want one team with one and then another team with the other guy. But I think you should have a stance that one of them is going to be the correct click, and you take them most of the time, and then you're a little bit invested in the other one, but not too much. Danimal says it's a nice start. So far, it's pretty solid. No complaints. The unstacked Caleb, a little bit weird, but I've seen worse. Question from Sladen. I ended with Amon-Ra Jamo as well as Christian Watson Kraft. But since Love and Goff are next to each other, I could only pick one. I would rather have Jared Goff than Jordan Love. I'd rather invest in the Lions offense with that quarterback than the Packers offense with Jordan Love. We've seen Goff stay healthier, more consistent, and higher upside as well. I would go Goff, for sure. About to be on the clock, so might just grab the fall on receiver. That's the position I kind of need. I'm a little bit worried about Chris Brazzell, not going to lie. There's part of me that doesn't think Coker's as good of a click anymore. So maybe I go Rashid Shaheed just because there's less competition. But yeah, I'll go Rashid Shaheed. Also, true spike week guy. Getting targets deep down the field. House call potential. Coker's in that breath as well, but maybe not as consistent on just like all or nothing games. Coker with Brazzell could be a problem. And maybe Torrey Horton's a problem for Shaheed, but Jalen Coker didn't get the contract that Shaheed just got. Some of that is because of his special teams ability, but I also think he'll be more incorporated into the passing game this year. He did not get a chance to participate in training camp last season with Seattle. It was just the Clint Kubiak connection, why he knew the system. But he paid off for them. They are betting on him again, and should be just as good as Coker. I don't see much of a difference between the two of them once you really factor in the potential Chris Brazzell breakout season as a rookie. Josh says, earlier in an 8-man league mock draft, I drafted Gibbs first, Josh Allen second, Trey McBride third, Olave fourth, Zay Flowers fifth, T. Higgins sixth. Jeez, the prices on receiver are crazy. It's an 8-man league, though. Right. Shouldn't shock me at all. Swift in the 7th, Warren in the 8th. Yeah, now it just sounds like a typical 8-man league. But I do like getting the elite number 1 quarterback in an 8-team league because you have so many options on who to play every week off the waiver wire or on your bench. I'd rather not make that decision. I'd rather just have Allen every single time. Saquon and Tank together, what the fuck? Here's the thing. Like I was saying, I'm not really trying to have the handcuff, but I'd much rather do it at that price than the other way around. I don't like it when they're equally priced. Claiborne and Allen would cloud any Minnesota-Washington double up. That's also a factor. Yeah, they both have RB3s that are being drafted in Minnesota and Washington. It's a weird backfield to bet on in both instances, but Gadsden circles back. I'm going to pass, though. I'm going to go Chigokonkwo. It stacks up with Jaden Daniels. And the Commander stacks are really easy to get and acquire, especially the back stack. So Jaden Daniels with Terry and Chig. Definitely happy with that. I'm good in that department. But Jason saying Andrews is cooked. He has less competition this year, and he also is a dominant red zone threat. He's never giving you like 70-plus yards. In that respect, I kind of agree. Andrews is a little bit washed, but this is a position that is dominated by touchdowns. Mark Andrews could be one of the few tight ends that scores double-digit touchdowns this year. He's done it in the past. He's consistently a red zone option. They don't have John Harbaugh at coach anymore. Maybe they pivot, but they let go of Isaiah Likely. They did not draft a tight end that poses a problem. They also didn't even bring in David Njoku. So Andrews just doesn't have much competition for the snaps at tight end. He will be running the most routes, and Lamar Jackson loves to throw in his direction. in the red zone. So I trust him at this ADP. I think I'm fine with it. Really no issue at 127. I think it factors in some of the underwhelming yardage stats that come with Andrews, but could definitely lead the position in touchdowns this season. The only thing about this 0, you don't fully lock it up. Having Claiborne there also makes it a little complicated. But if you don't believe in Claiborne at all, then be my guest. It's not that inexpensive, but I think if you draft Aaron Jones and you're worried about him getting hurt, then I think you should just be drafting Jordan Mason more often. McMillan fell to 162. This is a very nice price. I don't feel compelled to triple up on the stack with Antonio Williams. I'm going to go Jalen McMillan, who is getting some positive camp buzz. Understandably, he's always been a good player in the league. We've seen Love win someone $3 million. Goff could never. Really? Did Jordan Love have a high, like, week 1 score in week 17? I'm unaware of this, but I believe in Goff from a safety standpoint a lot more than Jordan Love. But Jordan Love runs a little bit more, so maybe he could. I guess this was like right before I started paying attention. BBM 5 was the first year that I started live streaming, so my bad. Tucker Kraft went in the 9th in this one. Now, he went in the 7th round here, but maybe you got him in the 9th. I agree, Large Sneaks. I definitely love Chig as well. I mean, I think the offense needs to step up, Josh. I kind of disagree with this statement. Last year, the defense carried them to their 11-win season. Last season, the defense was elite. I think they're going to be pretty good again because they have a lot of the same players, but they don't have the same coach on defense. Jesse Minter did leave, so I'm a little worried they're not going to be the same. But I think the offense is what needs to step up, and it will with Mike McDaniel. Maybe because you believe in Mike McDaniel, you kind of just assume that's already going to happen. But for the Chargers to really take a leap, it's the offense that needs to take a step up. They need to stay healthy. I kind of just want to take Antonio Williams at this price a little bit. He did fall back to 175. Pretty nice price, so fuck it. I'll overload on the Commander stack. But there's a world he's still not worth this. 16 picks past ADP could still not pay off. Wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely split between the two. I do not think a 32-year-old Aaron Jones is someone they want to overwork. He turns 32 in December, so no chance he's like in an 80-20 split. They still also paid Jordan Mason a pretty solid contract last year. But Mason's also in a contract season, definitely a little bit more hyped on Mason than Jones, the more I think about it. But as long as Aaron Jones is on the field, I don't think Mason is ever going to truly go off. Like, maybe he just scores a shit ton of touchdowns this season, but he doesn't strike me as a guy that can ever crack 100 yards on, like, only 14 carries. There might be a random game where he has just, like, one major breakaway run, but that's really fluky. That's not something you want to bet on. Typically speaking, Jordan Mason is not going to go over, like, 70 rushing yards, and he never catches passes. He really doesn't. So Aaron Jones has a very clear role as the main pass catcher. Jordan Mason might get a target or two per game just to keep the defense honest, but it's not part of his skill set that you can rely on. So if you're playing full PPR, I don't think Jordan Mason's a good pick. The only way it pays off is if Aaron Jones gets hurt. In a cold outdoor game, I actually trust Love more, but Goff is safer and has higher ceiling in the dome. Especially dome games, Goff is going to shine. Is Week 17 at Detroit or at Chicago? I think it's at Chicago. So maybe Goff does get a little flustered if it's snowing in Chicago this year. Last season, I think they owned him at Chicago, but they were also playing in like September. I think it was like week 2 or 3. Kind of a tough spot. Someone told me to take Alvin Kamara earlier. Could definitely do it. But I think Freiermuth is a better click ultimately. I will go Freiermuth. Lock up a value at tight end. Very strong pick, in my opinion. I think Emmanuel Wilson should be drafted higher since Seattle splits the backfield. It's him and a rookie running back for most of the year, though. Thoughts? I get the argument, but unfortunately, I think because of Zach Charbonnet, the truthers regarding Zach Charbonnet, I think keep Emmanuel Wilson a little low on the board. Because in the money weeks, you think that maybe Charbonnet might be back, and that is where Emmanuel Wilson might be worthless. Because I don't think Emmanuel Wilson is going to demand the touches down the stretch versus Jadarian Price, even if Charbonnet's off the field. Like, I don't think he's going to have the most snaps at the position. So later in the season, when he loses a lot of touches, he loses value. I think he's a good advance piece. I think if you built out your roster with like a bunch of rookie running backs that you're worried are going to take some time to deliver, there's not that many of them, but let's say in theory you have Cam Scatterbo that you're worried about early season, some other injured players, maybe Josh Jacobs you're worried about early season. I think Emmanuel Wilson can pair up with players like that really nicely because he will factor in much more early in the season than a round 16, round 17 price would suggest. So I understand your point, but I think the reason why he goes so late is because Charbonnet goes above him. I think when the contest will pay out, people still believe that Charbonnet will be healthier than Emmanuel Wilson. I think that's the reason. In the Eliminator, though, I think Emmanuel Wilson is an excellent, excellent pick. He's one of my favorite picks in the Eliminator. Wilson is great if you have a more fragile running back room. Definitely agree. 0. I am about to be on the clock. It looks like he might be making it back. So, you know what? If G Unit 99 does pass, which I'd be shocked if he does. He already has 7 RBs. I kind of hope he takes him, but get stuck with Ayuk at the top. He goes Cooper Kupp instead. We'll take Emmanuel Wilson. Let's do it. Maybe Rico takes some time early season. Maybe Jalen Warren still has a stranglehold on the offense. Maybe Rico's more valuable late in the season. Perhaps the same thing with Jonathan Brooks. He might not have the job week 1. They might still give Chuba a chance to prove himself. But Emmanuel Wilson should maybe compensate early in the year. I think I'm good with 2 quarterbacks. Jaden and Caleb are really strong. Derrick Henry, Bishal Tootin, Rico Dowdle, Jonathan Brooks, and Emmanuel Wilson. Pretty good running back room. Receiver started off strong with Amon-Ra, Rashi, and Terry. Terry is stacked up. We got Michael Wilson at a good value. We got Rashid Shaheed, Jalen McMillan, and Antonio Williams, both Commanders. And then with 2 quarterbacks, I can tolerate the 3 tight end build with Andrews, Chig, and Pat. I have 1 click left. And I think maybe because I'm a little wary about Michael Wilson, a little wary about Antonio Williams, and also Rashid Shaheed is not the most consistent player. Rashi Rice also may be questionable right now. I think the last click on this team will indeed be a wide receiver. And just for the sake of the stack, I'm going to queue up Jade Walker in case I time out. I am on the clock, though. There's not that many players I'm excited about down here. So, you know what? Fuck it. I don't have Caleb stacked. I'm going to take the wide receiver 3, Jade Walker, and believe that they're not bringing in anyone else to compete with him. We'll go Jade Walker. All right. I mentioned 420 is my hard out, so I'm going to take a rip from the pipe. I'll take a look at any other team in this draft that was a member, but then I'm going to bounce. Let's take a rip, though. It is 420. All right. I think I already showed you my team, so let's take a look at somebody else. In this lobby, there was AA Marcano, who still has 1 click left to make. There was also Young Phil and Ladies First. Ladies First is done, but every click they're gonna like mess with the display here. They're gonna show me somebody else. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm about to log off, so before I go, I'm gonna give everyone a link. I believe Jiri is still live. Here's what I'm gonna do. Head over to Jiri Football. Yo, what's up, Who Hames? Family soup to you as well. You got stuck with the Google Translate, but what's up? Hit this link if you are still interested in checking out some best ball drafts. Jiri Football is live right now, and we'll be joining him tomorrow on his marathon draft in the 1 o'clock Pacific time slot. So 21 hours from now, 1 p.m. Pacific, I'll be live with Jiri Football. Check out his live stream right here with the link. But Zero agrees, has 50% Wilson and Eliminator. Definitely a good pick. Did you win this draft? Let's take a look. I think my team was pretty good on this one. I would agree. The unique combo as well of Jaden and Caleb, not the most common to have. But this draft is done, so I can take out A. Marcano. He's the first time in our lobby today. But Mahomes and Bo Nix, that's fine. Gibbs, Brees, JCM, Woody Marks, Pacheco, and Ollie Gordon. Pretty solid. The double Detroit, a little interesting. Not totally unnecessary, but I mentioned Saquon and Tank. I think I might have just stopped there with Pacheco. Gordon, not my favorite, but JCM, also not my favorite. So last 4, kind of uninspiring. Top 2 are pretty good. Waddle, Adams, Tyson, DK Metcalf, Denzel Boston, Trey Harris, Judy, and Branch. Pretty solid, despite waiting a little while. And then McBride and Kelsey, pretty solid. The receiver room, I think, worked out. The fall on Tyson, really nice. Running back a little mid, though. For a Gibbs lobby, the running back room is a little mid. But the Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes combo can definitely work. Not bad at all. We got young Phil in here with Jackson Dart, Jordan Love. We sniped him on Caleb, but he also passed in the 6th round. So to gift him Caleb at pick 81, I think would have been a little too nice. So I got him. Sorry about that. Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown on this one, Kyle Monungai, Jonah Coleman, Emmett Johnson, and Jordan James. I don't click Coleman too often, but if Dobbins gets hurt, he probably does pay off this ADP, but could also be stuck behind RJ Harvey. I don't take Coleman very often, but Neighbors, Rome, Parker, Jaden Reed, Concepcion, a little discount on Concepcion, not bad. Jaden Higgins, Darnell Mooney, and Malik Washington. I don't love the actually the discount there. Yeah, really no problem here. And then Mooney can cover you if Neighbors doesn't deliver. Loveland and Strange, good tight end room, very well built. Running back a little bit shaky down the stretch, but if CMC stays healthy, you're in the clear. And quarterback can work. I'm sure you wished you had Caleb, though. Let's take a look at ladies first, our last team to review. Josh Allen, Tyler Shuck. Definitely works with that. Genty, Hampton, an elite start. Fabulous start. Corum, B-Rob, and Ray Day. Worth the risk. The top 2 are so good. It's definitely worth it. Lad McConkey, you did not get Herbert on this team, but DJ Moore is stacked up. Harrison, above ADP. Not my favorite decision, though. Worthy, Romeo Dobbs, Stephon Diggs, Ted Hurst, and Devon Valet. Kraft, Juwan Johnson, Dawson Knox. Not a bad tight end room. The Knox selection, a little unnecessary, but might be the piece you need. Might be the difference maker. Kind of doubtful, though. But running back a little bit thin down the stretch, but just so good up top. Really, really solid team. I don't love the Harrison click. Otherwise, I think everything else made plenty of sense. All right, that's going to be it for me. One reminder, check out Jiri Football. He is currently live. Just cracked 300 subscribers recently, going live for 300 minutes tomorrow. And definitely worth your time if you want to keep watching some live streams. If you're still watching Who Hames, how can I redirect people to his stream. I don't know how to do that. I've never done it before. I would like to, but I'm just not quite sure. So if you're watching Who Hames, let me know. But honestly, I'm done, y'all. If you guys want to watch more best ball drafts, you should check out Jerry Football for sure. Anyways, I'm not quite sure. I will look into it so I can do it next time. But I'm not going to bore you. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got to go. Peace out.